Good evening, a very warm welcome to round 3 of Formula Racing's League PS5 PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday. We are live at Silverstone for round 3 of the Sprint Series, and we've got another full grid tonight with around about 28, should be 29, but we've got a couple more drivers still to come into the server. But we've got a stacked grid pretty much, give or take one or two. And we've got two exciting races coming up for round 3 of the championship tonight. As always, it is the 20-minute sprint and the 40-minute feature race here at Silverstone, and we've got track race times of 6 and 7 PM local time. And as you can see, conditions at the moment in the free practice session are pretty much perfect. Got 18 degrees air temp, which is considerably higher to what it is like in reality. It is pretty cold in England right now, but it's 18 degrees on track, 23 degrees track temp, and it's sunny conditions. So perfect conditions for these drivers to fine-tune their setups in the free practice session. So what have we got in store for you tonight? So over the next 13 minutes, I'll just take you through the drivers we got in the lobby tonight, take you through the championship standings as we head into round 3, and just point out the winners and losers from last week. And then we've also got another driver interview lined up tonight. We've actually got this man on your screens right now, the 778 McLaren of McCutcheon. He'll be hopefully joining us post-race for an interview. Hopefully he has a good race, so he's got something good to talk about, otherwise it'll be a little bit awkward, but we'll see how he gets on. So, drivers for tonight, let's just have a quick look down the leaderboard. So currently setting the pace, we have Rapid Duck, the 48 BMW. Current pace is a 158.3. We've got Wufka. Brooker is currently the highest AM car on the grid thus far. Hutchison, who's a reserve coming in tonight. Rui. We've got Moggs, Patches O'Houlihan, who is now moving up to a full-time AM driver seat. He was a reserve at the Hungaroring and Suzuka, but he's now been moved up to a full-time seat. Liam Knott, Anderson, Sarge, who is also another reserve. We then have Friedman, McCutcheon, Gilas, Maxter, Shadow Lancer, Naisbitt, Matthews, MPL, Van Eck, BMG Lucas, Faz, Stereotypy, Canesa and Gedman. So 26 drivers in the lobby at the moment, or 25 excluding me, shall I say. Should be a few more to come into the lobby. So let's have a look at the championship standings. Obviously, we've had the Hungaroring, we've had Suzuka. So for the pro class, Canesa is your championship leader with 78 points in total. He's won 2 out of the 4 races. In fact, he's actually won both feature races. For the sprints, he's finished 3rd and 2nd respectively. But for both feature races thus far, he has won them both. So he's coming in here for a hat-trick tonight. P2 in the championship is the guy who's just behind him tonight, which is Dawufka, the 212 Porsche. He's on 72 points, so only 6 points behind Canesa. He's hasn't won a race yet, but he didn't have that great of a race at the Hungaroring. He finished 7th and 10th, but with the dropped round, he finished 4th and 2nd last week at Suzuka, so that's what's put him up there. And then 3rd, we have the number 14 Ferrari, which is Moggs. He's on 68 points, so 10 points behind Canesa. And he didn't have a great race at Suzuka. He finished 11th, and then he didn't actually finish the feature race. So he'll be looking for an improved race tonight at Silverstone. But for the opening round of the championship at the Hungaroring, he finished 2nd and 6th. So he'll be looking for a repeat of that. And then just talk you through a couple of other drivers on the pro grid. So Rui is in P4, and then we have Friedman in P5 of the championship with 66 points. That was Rui 68 and Friedman 66. In fact, what I'll do, I'll just talk you through the top 10. So P6 is Axel Racing. Now, Axel Racing, who is Conway on here, he isn't actually racing tonight, unfortunately. He's had to miss tonight, so he's going to lose points in the championship with the drivers around him, because in the guy behind him in P7 is Morex. Now, Morex is here. I'm sure he is. I'm seeing him somewhere. Morex is on the grid somewhere, or maybe he's just been disconnected, but he should be racing tonight. Number 8 in the championship is Rapid Duck. Now he won he got qualifying pole position in the Hungaroring in round 1 of the championship, and he actually went on to win the sprint race, but then he had quite a bad feature race, finishing P12, and then last week at Suzuka he finished 7th and 6th, so it wasn't quite a repeat of the Hungaroring pace, but he's currently setting the pace here with a 158.3. So he's P8 in the championship with 59 points. And then rounding out the top 10 for the pro class, you've got Romaria 24, who isn't racing tonight, and then we've got Liam Knott, he's currently sitting P9 on the grid at the moment in free practice. So that's your top 10 in the pro. Just to remind you, top 3 is Kanesa, Dawu and Moggs, all racing tonight in the top 3. Now switching to your AM drivers, which are the ones designated with the red kind of numbering on your screens. So leading the way is AMR Vantage. Now Vantage is not racing tonight. He's in a little bit of trouble with the old stewards. So he's going to be missing tonight, and he'll be losing out on some championship points. Anderson, who is in P2, he's on 76 points, only 2 points behind Vantage in first. Now Anderson is on track tonight. He's a 888 Mercedes, currently finds himself in P10. Third, we have Hand of Nez, which I'll just get my sheet up. That is Naisbit on your screens. He currently finds himself all the way down in 18th. He'll be looking to get in a qualifying position higher up the grid than that, because he finds himself in second place of the AM Championship. He had a good week at Suzuka last week. He finished 4th in the sprint and 2nd in the feature race. And then 4th place is Brooker, and he was the one who I just mentioned a few moments ago. He's currently the AM pace setter on track tonight. He's in P4 with 68 points, so again only 10 points off first place. So your top 4 is separated by 10 points in total with the AM class. And then just to name a couple of drivers, again rounding off the top 10 for AM class, is 5th is the Gabri, 6th is Wee Danny. Now Wee Danny is McCutcheon on your screen, so 778 McLaren. He will be joining us for a live post race interview later on tonight. We then have Rogers in P7, MPL P8, Hugo Cito P9 and Jackie P10. So those are your championship standings for Pro and AM. So Silverstone, the track itself, we all know Silverstone is an absolutely fantastic track to overtake. It's a really high speed track. You've got probably some of the best corners on the GT calendar with Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel, Stowe, Brooklands and Luffield. It really is probably one of my favourite tracks. The drivers can really get into a good flow around here. I think we are going to be in store for a cracking couple of races, so it should be overtaking up and down the grid, and I'll do my best to bring you the very best of the coverage, the very best of the action, shall I say. So I've got about 5 minutes to go until qualifying. Drivers are just, let's get you off one of the cars sat in the pit lane. Let's bring you Kanesa live on track, going through Maggots and Beckett's. So about 5 minutes to go off free practice. Drivers just getting those tyre pressures set right for qualifying, getting the setups, last minute setup changes done and tested. And then we'll be straight into a 15-minute shootout for pole position. There is no split qualifying for Pro and AM class. It's just 15 minutes for all the drivers to get their laps in. It's quite a long lap as well, about just under 2 minutes. So they haven't got a lot of laps to get in before the flag drops. So it is going to be a little bit pressured for them. However, I would imagine traffic shouldn't be an issue given the length of the track, and it's quite a big track, so they should be able to avoid traffic, I'd imagine, during qualifying. So just before we go into qualifying, bit of news from FRL. So please do stay tuned on the Discord, because we've got some exciting news coming up, and it involves the Endurance Championship. Can confirm we are currently pretty much completing testing for driver swaps. If you do follow various communities on ACC, you'll note that driver swaps have now been made possible on console due to various private server configurations, and FRL will be looking to do team endurance races in the future, so please do keep your eyes peeled for that, for the sign-ups and for the interest, etc., because that will be hitting your calendars very soon. And also just a massive thank you to all the Patreon subscribers who were signed up in January. I believe we've ended the month with a really healthy number of new subscribers. Your support goes a massive way to supporting FRL with the server costs and all the other kind of running fees and kind of tasks that are involved to bring you the action and then the racing and the setups and the stewarding, etc. So thank you to all those who have signed up in the last month or so. It has been extremely appreciated. If you're not already a Patreon member, please do check out the benefits channel in the Discord. The benefits do vary between PC and console, but there is 3 different tiers. I think for as little as £3 a month, you can kind of drop your support. I mean, £3 really is absolutely nothing, is it? It's probably cheaper than a coffee that is nowadays, depending where you are in the country. So that's that. And then just what's coming up this week on FRL. So we've got the Taco Tuesdays on Tuesday coming up, and then we have the Late Night Thursday, which is also going to be at Silverstone this week, and then we also have next week we have the return, which is round 4, I think, of the Endurance Series at Monza. That's not your team endurance, that is your single driver endurance at Monza coming up on Friday. And I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm just having a few technical checks going on in the background. See, there's quite a lot of you watching live, so thank you for joining us for the live stream. Please do drop a like on the video, and if you're not already subscribed, whack that subscribe button. Will Friedman, you're way off the pace. You are, aren't you? P12 at the moment. I do hope you're sandbagging. You need to take those sandbags off for qualifying, because P12 is not where I expect you to be, Will. We'll see where you are in qualifying. And who else have we got commenting on the video? Ibra, good evening. Good to have you with us. So that is your free practice session over, guys. We're just waiting for the server just to reset to the qualifying, then we'll be straight out. Just take note of that time though, Rapid Duck 58.3. It'd be interesting to see if the managers to beat that in qualifying. The Merc is weird to drive on the PS5. I don't really know. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Obviously, I've not driven on the PS4 version, so I can't really say. But obviously, the physics are slightly different, aren't they, compared to the PS4 in the whole. I know some cars are definitely different compared to the PS4. I think the Bentley, for example, is really favoured on the PS4, whereas you don't really see it very much on the PlayStation 5. Ibrahim, I'm good today, mate. I'm good, thank you. Hope you're well. The Beamer seems to be OP on PS5. Potentially. It's a weird one, isn't it, the Beamer? It's I noticed on PC, it's not being used very much now. If you watch the likes of Yardia and whoever your YouTubers who you watch, the BMW doesn't really seem to be getting that much use. But on the PlayStation 5, it is certainly a favourite. So qualifying is underway, ladies and gentlemen. We have got Naisbitt, the 242 Mercedes, is the first one out of the pit lane, and we've got a number of cars following him. So we've got Naisbitt, we've got Brooker, we've got Hutchison, we've got Gielas, we've got McCutcheon, Rapid Duck. So a right little train. I hope these drivers are going to have to start spacing themselves out a little bit as they get towards the end of the lap. They don't want to be tripping themselves over. Tripping over themselves, shall I say. Smoking a cigarette now in my garage. Spoken like a true Frenchman. Oh, I can imagine a Frenchman enjoying a cigarette in a garage. If you're watching and you're under the age of 18, don't smoke, kids, and don't drink, and go to school. We don't encourage smoking here at FRL. So, I think that's Rapid Duck who's actually got ahead of Naisbitt. So, Rapid Duck is going to be your first driver over the line to start a flying lap. We'll just stick on board with him to see how he gets on as he heads into the first corner, which is Copse. A very fast right-hander, can't let that car drag too far out wide, and you bring the car all the way to the right-hand side and flick it into the infamous Maggots and Beckett's. Put it down a gear here, then tap the brakes, whip it left. Oh, McLaren almost getting in the way of him there. So coming out the exit of Chapel, really important corner to get that exit down the long straight. If you get the exit wrong coming out of Beckett's and Chapel, you're going to sacrifice that speed all the way down this straight. The hanger straight is as it's known as. And then you're coming up to the right-hander of Stowe. Again, you can get the car a little bit wide out here. Don't go too wide out onto the curbs. And that looks just about spot on for Rapid Duck. And then we're coming into Vale, which is a very quick heavy braking zone of the left and right-hander. The rear end of the car can step out here, so it's traction control and throttle control, very important. So Hamilton Straight, which is the old start-finish line here at Silverstone, and it's the extremely fast right-hander of Abbey. Just flick it in, take as much speed as you can, and then you're coming up to the very slow section of Village. Braking zone, very important. Hit the apex, do not go too deep in the brake, because then you're going to really screw your entry to the loop and entry. So again, hug the apex on full throttle now. You can take this corner flat out, run it nicely on the curves, and then you're down the Wellington straight. This is one of my favourite sections of the track. Coming up the Brooklands is very right-hander. You can get some overtaking moves and done here. So again, flick it left, let the car drift out wide, bring it back a little bit to the centre. There's a couple of different lines you can take around Luffield. Some drivers take a tight line, some drivers let it go a little bit out and then kind of double apex it. I personally kind of hug the apex, hug the corner quite tight. That is a very straight line. Rapid Duck's took there, but he's across the line with a 158.1, and Hutchison follows 5 tenths off. And there here comes Naisbitt and Brooker, and here comes Gilas, one of the reserve drivers tonight in the Aston Martin. Classic Aston Martin driving around Silverstone. As we've got yellow flags out at the exit of Luffield, which was Chris Gedman. And then here comes Maxter, also in the Aston Martin. A couple of the reserve drivers opting for the Aston tonight. He places that Aston into a provisional P7. Here comes Wustker, one of the pro drivers in the top 3 of the championship. Where can he place that Porsche on his initial lap? He doesn't, he's just starting his lap. We'll stay on board with Wustker actually for this lap. So 6 minutes gone, and we've still got half the grid without times. And your provisional set at the moment is Rapid Duck with a 58.1, and Hutchison, who is a reserve driver. I say he's a reserve driver. He is a pro level driver. He competes. He's actually my teammate in Taco Tuesdays, but he just doesn't have a full-time seat in the Sunday Sprint Series. So the reserve driver probably doesn't do him justice. He's a very quick guy. So do not sleep on S. Hutchison, the 22 BMW, in tonight's sprint and feature races. He's going to be up there. Probably giving him the commentator curse now, which he won't like, but you know. As we see, was that Jay Sarge? Jay Sarge is one of the, again, another reserve driver tonight. We've got 6 reserve drivers in total. We've got 22 full-time drivers and 6 reserves on the grid tonight. So Jay Sarge with a 777 BMW going provisional P4. It's a good time from him. So far, Rapid Duck and Hutchison are the ones setting the pace. Everyone else is 2 seconds off their times. As Shadowlancer goes P7. So just trying to pick out some drivers as they cross the line, and we've got cars all over the place. I'm just trying to keep up with who we've got. Here comes Will Friedman. Here is the Frenchman coming round in the Mercedes. Hopefully he's finished his cigarette by now, and he's not currently got one arm out the window finishing that cigarette off. Hopefully he's got 2 hands on the steering wheel, and he's going to set a quick time around here. Where does Will Friedman place that Mercedes, or is this just his out lap? I think this is his out lap. So he's just starting his flying lap. So Hutchison increases his previous time and goes, oh, he's lost it. Back end stepping out, that's not going to be the optimal time around there. I was about to say he's actually he's lowered the gap. He's still 2 tenths off. Here's Chris Gedman, and we saw him go off at the exit of Luffield last lap. Can he do better this one? He doesn't set a time, so this must be his flying lap. As we see, Canesa goes P5. Morex goes P8. It's going to be interesting with the split of Pro and Am drivers tonight. Last week, you had a couple of, I think you had 3 Am drivers finish in the top 10 in qualifying. We've currently only got 2, which is Anderson and Patches O'Houlihan. So it'll be interesting to see what the split is. You know, normally you think Pro would be all at the top of the grid and Ams would be bottom, but it doesn't always work out like that. There is some very quick guys in the Am class, and of course certain cars suit better circuits and so on. So it's not always as static as you may think. So, still on board with Chris Gedman, not yet set a time, and he currently is making his way round the exit of the Loop and Aintree, heading down to the Wellington Straight. Porsche won't necessarily be enjoying Silverstone, I don't think, with the very high speed nature. Some of the corners that will be good at, but the straight line, the straights of the Hangar and the Wellington Straight, it will probably be a little bit vulnerable in straight line speed, but this is where it can excel, is in the corners. So Chris manages to avoid spinning out of coming out of Luffield and Woodcote, and let's see what time he goes. Let's just wait for his name to pop up. He plots himself 22nd, 4.7 seconds off the pace, Chris Gedman. You've got Moggs as well. Moggs down in 26, which is 9 seconds off. I can't imagine that is a real representative time for Moggs. The reason why that is interesting is because Moggs currently finds himself in P3 overall in the Am class. So he would not be looking for a grid position of 26th. He's got 4 minutes to improve that. We'll stay on board with him for the moment. Let's just go to the top of the grid to see what we've got going on. So we've got a couple more drivers who have now edged in within 1 second of Rapid Duck. Those are Wufka and Sarge. But there is quite a big pace difference. I'm surprised. You know, normally there's a lot of drivers within a second of each other. We've got quite a pace difference on the grid tonight. You know, we've got a lot of drivers over a second, and we've got a lot of drivers over 2 seconds, a lot of drivers over 3 and 4 and so on. It really is quite a spread, and that is going to be interesting when it comes to the actual race, because you're going to get a field spread quite quickly. But it is only a 40-minute race when it comes to the feature, so traffic or, you know, lapping back markers shouldn't really be an issue, unless, you know, there is people spinning out and start having to box. And just remind me, actually, there is no mandatory pit stops tonight either, guys, so you're probably getting used to that now with the Sunday series, but there is no mandatory stop. It is a straight sprint race in both the sprint and feature. So Moggs crosses the start-finish line. He still finds himself, he's gone down actually down to a place down to P27, so he'll be looking, this lap here will be his go fast one. As you can see as well, we have a full grid of 29 drivers. One of those is myself, which is Al Robinson. For some reason it's not showing me as a spectator tonight, but that is me, commentator, Lewis Robinson. So 29 drivers. And we have 2 minutes remaining with Rapid Duck. You're still your provisional pole sitter. Rapid Duck, just to remind you, did get pole in Hungary. So he'll be on, he's currently on, or he's 2 minutes away from his second pole position out of 3 races. Welcome to those who have all joined the live stream in the last few minutes. There's quite a lot of you watching. Please do drop a like on the video, and if you got, please do say hello in the comment section. Let me know who you're supporting or who you're keeping an eye on. So, we've stuck on board with Moggs for quite a while, and he's now about to finish his lap. Can he get himself off back of the grid? He does. Where does that send him? Up to P6. Now that's a better time for Moggs. You're third place in the AM Championship. A lot better time. So let's go to Chris Gedman. He's the next driver coming across the line. Currently finds himself in 24th. Can he move himself up? Chris Gedman, aka the grass cutter. He doesn't improve. And we've got the 333. Where's the 333? That's Stereotypy. He's P19. Doesn't improve. Then I think we've got 166, which is Jay Brooker. It is. Look at that memory commentator there. 166, Jay Brooker coming across. Can he improve in P13? He doesn't. Can't work out who that is behind, and we've got car number 48 coming across as well, which is Rapid Duck. Can he improve on his time? He doesn't improve. Then we've got 778 coming up shortly, which is McCutcheon, who'll be live with us on the channel later on tonight, post-race. He doesn't improve either. And then we've got the 170 coming across, which is Gilas. Oh, I've completely pressed the wrong button there. Do apologise. The Gilas aborts. So, Knaus has finished qualifying. We're on board with Hutchinson now. Can he find 4 attempts to challenge Rapid Duck at the top of that leaderboard? Qualifying, the flag has dropped. So drivers who have already started their laps, this is it. This is make or break for these guys. See Hutchinson. Has he found 4 attempts? He hasn't. Here comes Moggs. Moggs doesn't improve. Can Rui improve? He can't. So far, Rapid Duck is still your pole sitter. I can't see anyone who's going to challenge him. I think Morex is still out there. Morex is out there, probably the only guy who can. We'll go on board with him in a minute. Here comes Chris Gedman across the line. Gedman doesn't improve. Let's go on board with Morex. He's your potential challenger. He's got Rapid Duck actually ahead of him on track. So Rapid Duck, the car in front, you see there, the green, lime green BMW, is your provisional pole sitter. Can he... Oh, so Morex boxes. So Rapid Duck, I think, is going to secure pole position. We've got the 778 coming round. That's McCutcheon. He currently is in P16. He's got to find 2.2 seconds to even challenge Rapid Duck. He improved 1 place to 15. So that is your qualifying, guys. We've got 29 drivers. And let's just give you a summary of where we are. So, Rapid Duck is second in pole position of the season, following up his pole in Hungary. So Rapid Duck with a 1:57.9, Wolfgat P2, Kanesa P3, Hutchinson P4, Sarge P5. That's a great result for him as a reserve driver coming in. Moggs P6, who was for a long time down in 28th, so he's done well to get that Ferrari up to P6. Morex P7, Rui P8, Liam Knott 9th, Frank 10th, Patrick O'Houlihan P11, Anderson 12th, Brooker 13th, Friedman 14th, McCutcheon 15th, Shadowlancer 16th, Maxter 17th, Vanek 18th, BRG Stereotypy in 19th, Gilas 20th, Naisbit in 21st, lower down where I was expecting him to be, Rogers 22nd, Matthews 23rd, BMG Lucas 24th, Gedman 25th, MPL 26th, Jack Davison 27th, Faz 28th, and Jack Slater is 29th. Did not set a time. So, let me just quickly take a couple of screenshots of the grid. Server will reset, guys, and we'll be up for the sprint race in a few moments time. So if you haven't already, get that kettle boiled, get your race snacks ready, and we'll be live for the sprint race here at Silverstone in around about 3-4 minutes time. I'll be back with you in a moment.
Seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
'Okay, so the formation lap for the sprint race is underway. And just one observation that I've noticed is no RAM drivers in the top 10 this week. in the last couple of races we've had a few AM drivers sneak in the top 10. We've even had 1 or 2 in the top 5, I think. So at the moment, the highest driver in the AM class is Patches O'Houlihan in P11. We've got quite a few of them actually. We'll be battling away P11, 12th, 13th and 14th, which is Patches, Anderson, Brooker and McCutcheon. So interesting battles to keep our eyes on throughout the grid. And then Jay Sarge, a Pro-Am class driver, which is designated by the silver number in P5. And then Friedman, for some reason, is showing us 29th place. Not sure what's happening there for Friedman. He's not having the best of luck when it comes to qualifying. Well, he got disconnected maybe. Anyway, so very important lap formation. Get those tyre pressures up, get the heat into the tyres and into the brakes. Let's see, the techniques are either weaving along straight or dragging the brake. I think a lot of drivers do drag the brakes nowadays to bring that temperature up. And just another observation while we watch these cars go around is looking at the manufacturers of the cars. We've got 4 BMWs in the top 10. That is interesting. And the 4 of them, we've got 4 out of the top 5 are Beamers. And you've got the lone Porsche of Wufka, who is in the middle of a BMW sandwich. So, what else we've got there? We've got a Ferrari in P6, a couple of Mercedes and another Porsche, and then we've got a McLaren as well. So BMW, looks like Friedman, who was commenting on the live stream before qualifying, he's pretty much bang on the money. BMW is quick round here. It isn't in my hands anyway. I've actually got a new wheel and recently upgraded to load cell pedals, which I installed today, and I had a couple of laps this evening before this race, and I've kind of dropped by about 2 seconds a lap in terms of pace. It's going to take me a while to get used to load cell, I reckon, and to a new wheel. So, what are the track conditions? As you can see, it is bright sunshine at Silverstone. We've got an optimum track, 17 degrees air temp, and a track temp of 19 degrees. And we've got a 1 kilometre wind speed, so no rain expected. Dry conditions, perfect racing, and I believe it is 6 PM local time. With the feature race, will be a 7 PM start. So the sun could start setting towards the end of that race. But here we are rounding the final couple of corners as they come into Brooklands and Luffield. And they'll be heading into their Noah's Ark 2x2 formation. And keeping under their speed limit. Drivers got to be really careful to avoid contact in the first lap or two. Silverstone, like most tracks, the first lap can be carnage. But you've got a very fast right-hander of Cops, so they've got to be really careful. And then pretty much Maggots and Beckett's, we could be seeing fireworks through there, but we'll wait and see. We're about to go racing here at Silverstone for round 3 of the PureSimGear PlayStation 5 Formula Racing League Super Sprint Sunday, and we're green, we're away. Rapid Duck's got a great start in the 48 line, green BMW, Wufka's behind them in the Porsche. I think Canesa's got a good start though. Canesa on the inside of Wufka, Hutchinson's on the inside of him as well. We're going to go too wide into Maggots and Beckett's, so Hutchinson's moved up to 3rd. He falls in behind Wufka in the Porsche, and Canesa has lost the place, so Canesa drops to 4th. Hutchinson walks up, goes up to P3. J Sarge has got Moggs, not Moggs, who's that pink Mercedes? That would be Morex challenging Sarge. And then Canesa has got a run on Hutchinson, but he's got the run on Wufka in the Porsche. Hutchinson just flings the BMW in behind as the UI tracker just updates, so just bear with me. But more importantly, your race leader, Rapid Duck, has got away, so Wufka has maintained 2nd position heading in to Vale and Club. He's got Hutchinson, the 22 BMW, all over the back of him as he goes very wide there, Hutchinson. And we've got Kanata, who's lost a lot of places. Kanata must have had contact, because he's dropped by about 5 positions. We're not sure what's happened there. We'll try and find out. And let's just have a quick flick through the field to see what's going on. We've got pretty much all drivers have managed to make it round so far. Oh, we've got a spinner in the background. Don't know who that was. It is BMG Lucas. And we've got another car. We've got number 16 of Liam Knott. They're going flying off. We've got contact there. Looks like Chris Gedman in the 79. Porsche's also had contact on the graph. We've got another car. We've got cars off left, right and centre. They're doing their best to confuse the commentator, but saw a Porsche and the McLaren go flying off in the background. Whether he lost it on the exit or there was contact, I'm not sure. We've got the other flags out as well towards the back of the grid. I think that's Matthews. It is. Matthews was the cause of those yellow flags. Commentator's curse strikes again. I was just saying how most drivers manage to make it around 3/4 of the lap all pretty well, and then as soon as they say it, 4 or 5 cars just decide to go, do you know what, Mr. Commentator, I'm going to make your life a misery. I'm going to send 5 cars off all at once. Anyway, lap 2 is underway. Rapid Duck has already got a 1.3 second gap over Woofka. Got Hutchinson in P3. Moggs has gone all the way up to P4. I think he's up by 2 or 3 places. Frank is in P5. Sarge is in P6. I think he's dropped a couple of places. So I think he was 4th or 5th. Can't quite remember. Anderson 6th. Rui 8th. Kanesa 9th. Patches O'Houlihan 10th. Brooker 11th. McCutcheon 12th. He's gone up a couple of places. I know that for sure. But he's got Morex. Is that Morex? It is. It's Morex. It's side by side with McCutcheon going into Stowe. He's going on the outside of Stowe. Can he make that stick? I think he is. No, he's not. He's not going to be able to make a stick, but he's going to make a move in the braking zone. He isn't. He's just going to tuck him behind McCutcheon. Let's have a quick look down the inside. McCutcheon leaving that racing room and dips those tyres in the grass a little bit. So good racing between Morex and McCutcheon, the pro and am drivers, as we've got Kanesa making moves up ahead, and I think he's made a move on Rui there, or looking to make a move. So back to where I was. Morex 13th, Sheller Lancer 14th, Gilas 15th, Stereotypy 16th, Roger 17th, Maxter 18th. Friedman has gone up from 29th up to 19th within 1.5 laps. The Frenchman is on fire. Jack Davidson 20th, 21st Naisbitt, 22nd Liam Knott, 23rd Jack Slater, Gedman 24th, MPL 25th, Lucas is 26th, Van X 27th, Matthew 28th, and Fads is one of your reserve drivers, is in 29th. Your battle at the top though is between these two, Hutchinson and Woofka. Hutchinson is piling the pressure on. That BMW is mighty strong around here. And these guys, they're very close going into the first corner of Copse. That was almost a Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen repeat, that was. As the commentator takes a swig of his drink. So, Maggots and Beckett's fantastic corners. If Porsche should be quite nifty around these corners, but it's a straight is where that BMW can really stretch its legs and challenge the Porsche. He's not close enough to make a move on this lap, but Hutchinson will keep piling the pressure on. He's actually got the purple lap as well, so he was rapid off the start, Hutchinson. And he'll be looking to dispatch Woofka as quick as possible to see if he can challenge Rapid Duck in race pace trim. So what else have we got going on down back of the down throughout the field? We've got Kanesa, Kanesa was 3rd or 4th. He's lost a few places, down to 7th. I'm not really sure what happened on lap 1. He's now finds himself stuck behind Jay Sarge, and he's got Moggs up ahead of that. He's got a couple of BMWs in the background there running wide. I think that was Shadow Lancer in the number 30 BMW, taking an extremely wide line coming out of Club. And we have on board with Liam Knott and Jack Davidson. These two are running very close, battle for 21st. As Knott has a look at the inside, the two Porsches almost going side by side. It was, to be fair, Jack Davidson did leave him the room, but he's now going to be all under pressure coming down the Wellington Straight. Liam Knott will be looking to make a move heading into Brooklyn's left-hander. So will Jack Davidson defend the inside line. He doesn't. He sticks to the outside. Liam Knott has a look down the inside, and he's later on the brakes, and he sends the car, the number 16 Porsche, down the inside, and he moves up to 21st. Cracking racing between Liam Knott and Jack Davidson there. Let's just move back up to third place and see how Hutchinson is making progress on Wufka. He is still hot on the tails of that Porsche. Oh, Wufka's making a mistake. Wufka's made a mistake. Just as I was swallowing my refreshment in the commentary box, he's made a mistake, and Hutchinson moves up to P2. Luckily we managed to catch that on camera. Let's just quickly have a quick look at what's happening down, because we've got an almighty train of cars coming out of the exit of Chapel. We've got McCutcheon looking to make moves on. Who is it? That's actually Anderson, I believe. It's Anderson. Anderson's the one who's challenging McCutcheon here. McCutcheon, who will be joining us for a post-race interview later on. He's got a silver Mercedes filling his rear-view mirrors currently of Anderson. And Anderson is currently P2 in the championship, and if he finishes well here tonight, he will go up to the AM class leader in the standings, because AMR Advantage is not racing tonight. So I'm doing my best to bring you guys the best of the action. We're just trying to, it's a little bit carnage the first few laps where everyone's all within a second of each other. Let's just have a quick flick down the field to see what we've got going on. So these are all the cars flying by. We've currently got, I think Stereotypy's made a mistake. Stereotypy, who are on board with now, the 333 Mercedes, he's dropped all the way back down to 20th. And Will Friedman is up ahead of him. If you look at your driver tracker, we've got the top three just starting to pull away from the rest of the field. Frank seems to be a little bit of cork in the bottle at the moment. He's got a number of cars following him. Moggs is within a second of him. That's really a nice rear shot of all these cars coming out of the first corner. A couple of the Aston Martins there, following line by line. As Gedman is looking to make a move in MPL, he's very close. And Faz is all the way back, 10 seconds back off the rest of the field. It'll be a lonely race for him upcoming. So Hutchinson made the move on Wufka, but he's not exactly pulling away easy. Wufka is kind of almost roles reversal now. He's putting the pressure on him for the battle for P2. While these two squabble away though, Rapid Duck is advancing down the road. He's now extended his lead to 2.8 seconds. We're approaching the halfway mark of this sprint race already. It is flown by, as Silverstone tends to do. It's an amazing track to race at, so many overtaking opportunities. We've had pretty much 2 races in a row at Hungaroring and Suzuka where it is hard to overtake. We're in for a treat tonight with some of these drivers, as we see Patrick O'Houlihan in the Audi. He's very close to Shadow Lancer. Can he make a move into the left-hander? He can't. As we've got car 242, I think, is going off towards the rear. Don't know who that was. I think there was a slow car. I think it was Naisbit. Looked like he was going slow. He's currently in P22. Oh, he has. Has he been disconnected? No, he's retired from the race. So Naisbit is out of the race. We're not sure what happened there. I'll send one of my reporters down to the pit lane and try and find out what happened with Naisbit there for you guys. So Rapid Duck is your race leader, 2.9 second lead over Hutchinson. Wufka in third, Frank fourth, as we've got Moggs and Canesa. Canesa's very close to Moggs here, going in to the right-hander of Stowe. And coming down to very, is he going to be brave enough to make a move down the inside? I think Moggs has gone quite defensive. No, he hasn't. He's covered that. He's parked that Ferrari quite nicely, to be fair. And he's defending hard from the BMW of Canesa. Canesa is a very quick driver. But so is Moggs, to be fair. There's quick drivers throughout the grid. So Sarge is 7th, Rui 8th, Morex 9th. Top 10 just starting to spread out now. Anderson in 10th. He's your AM class leader, but he's under significant pressure from Shadow Lancer. But he won't be bothered by that, I don't think. He'll be bothered more about the 69 and the 778, because those are his fellow AM class drivers. So he's currently leading the AM class as Shadow Lancer almost makes a move on Anderson. If I was Anderson, I wouldn't battle Shadow Lancer too much. I wouldn't want to lose time to Patches O'Houlihan or McCutcheon, because those are your fellow competitors in your category, Anderson. So I wouldn't battle too hard. Max the 14th, he's having a good debut so far at FRL. I believe he's a new driver to FRL and it's his first race tonight. He's so far debuting well in P14. Don't do a commentator's curse, Lewis. Friedman is up to 15th. He's almost gone up halfway up the field as we see Stereotypy with a Mercedes that looks like it needs to visit its nearest quick fit, because that is a battered Mercedes. VRG Stereotypy having a nightmare of a race. And that 333 Mercedes will be limping back to the pit lane, I'd imagine. Let's just jump on board with Adamson and Shadow Lancer again. These guys are really starting to create a little bit of a pack, heading through Maggots and Beckett's. Patches O'Houlihan and McCutcheon will be watching this battle with intrigue. This is your battle. These are your 3 podium drivers in AM class, all within a second of each other. As they head into Stowe. That's not the first time we've seen Shadow Lancer take quite a wide exit curve. So field really is starting to spread out now. We've got significant gaps. We've got almost got a battle for the top. We've got the battle for 2nd and 3rd raging on. Then we've got a battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Then we've got a battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then we've got another gap all the way down to around about 16th, I'd imagine. But Wolfka is still piling this pressure on Hutchinson. Come on, Hutch. Fellow Taco Tuesday teammate. He's running a very sexy looking BMW livery. I wonder who designed that. Answers on the postcard. So, heading into the final 5 minutes, and that gap out front is extending even more to 3.3 seconds. Rapid Duck also has the purple lap. This is your race leader. So far, it's been a flawless performance. It's very much replica to what happened at the Hungaroring. Set pole position and ran away with the sprint race. However, the feature race did not go to plan for Rapid Duck, and he didn't have a great performance at Suzuka last week. I think he finished 10th and 11th, or around about there anyway. So, in fact, I can tell you, where did Rapid Duck finish at Suzuka last week? Oh, it wasn't as bad as 10th and 11th. He actually finished 7th and 6th. But that is his dropped round so far, as he finished 1st and 12th. But yeah, his feature race, as we see in the background there, Hutchinson going a little bit squirrely. Tubby's looking at the championship standings as Hutch flashes his lights on Wolfka. Was there a little bit of contact? Was there a little bit of elbows out there from the Porsche? We don't know. I was too busy looking at the race results of Rapid Duck from Hungaroring, but we're on board with Wolfka and Hutchinson. So Hutchinson has lost his place to P2. There was some flashing lights going on. We're not sure. There's a little bit of contact between the two. let's just quickly have a quick flick through what we've got going on. So Frank is still managed to hold off Canesa. Canesa's back up to P5. He did drop down to P7 at one point. He's managed to find his way past Mod, and he's quickly hunting down Frank. J Sarge is under pressure from Rui in P8. And we've got another gap to Morex, who's having a very lonely race. He's got a 5-second gap to Rui, and I think he's got another probably 8-second gap to Anderson. It's 5-second gap, beg your pardon. So he is slap bang in the middle of P8 and P10. So Morex just needs to bring this race home for a solid P9. Anderson is still holding off Shadowlancer, and in fact, I think Shadowlancer has just dropped back a little bit and opened the door to McCutcheon. And McCutcheon was running 13th, so he's actually made a move up past Patches O'Houlihan, and he's moved up to second in AM class in this sprint race. So a solid result for McCutcheon so far. And remember, he will be joining us for a post-race interview. Now, I do warn you, he is Scottish, so if you want to put subtitles or captions on, do whack the button on YouTube so if you do struggle to understand the Scottish accent. Maxter 14th, but he's under pressure from Friedman. So Maxter is the reserve new entrant driver in the race tonight, and he's quickly finding out what it's like to battle with the cigarette smoking Frenchman, as Friedman is practically pushing that Aston Martin around the corner. So Friedman tucks in behind Maxter. Then we've got a big gap to Rogers. Rogers, who is, I believe that is a back marker. You've got Rogers in the number 12 McLaren, then you've got Gilas in the Mercedes. So I'm not sure who that is running between them. That could be Stereotypy. It is. It's Stereotypy, who is out of position. Is running behind Rogers. Jack Slater in 18th. Brooker in 19th. Matthews, in fact, Brooker's lost the place. So Matthews has moved up to P19. Brooker's dropped to 20th, and Brooker's got significant damage on the front of that Audi, and he's now under a lot of pressure from MPL, and he's got Chris Gedman involved there as well. Chris Gedman goes to the outside, he's got MPL on the inside, he's having to go heavy on the brakes. This is the battle for 21st here at FRL at Silverstone round 3. So Gedman, can he get on the power? Can he take Brooker going down into the left-hander of Brooklands? That Audi's carrying significant damage. It's got the flappy bonnet syndrome. So MPL has a look at the inside of Gedman. Can Gedman hold it? He's got to brake a little bit early on the inside of Hub, the inside line, and get on that power early. He's got MPL all over the back of him. And MPL is likewise under pressure from Van Eck. In fact, Van Eck has actually moved up, I believe. Yeah, Van Eck's actually took MPL. And so while MPL is trying to get past Gedman, oh no, he hasn't, beg your pardon, do apologise, he hasn't. MPL has actually managed to remain in front of Van Eck. I was getting a little bit excited for myself then. But Gedman has now got the run going into Maggots and Beckett's. As Gedman moves up ahead of Brooker and takes P20. Can MPL do the same thing? Brooker's got significant damage, he's all over the place. He's doing his best to keep that Audi straight and not make contact. It's good driving between all four drivers, to be fair. Very good. That's out as Brooker looks to go do a little bit of a switcheroo, but I think the downforce on that Audi will be significantly compromised. And let's just move up to the top of the grid as we see Hutchinson has retook second place. Apologies for missing that on the live stream. But final lap of the race, and Hutchinson's managed to retake P2. Let's just stick on board with this for the final lap. As you heard from Jeff, as Rapid Duck has started his final lap of the race of the sprint race with a 6-second gap. So Hutchinson's in second, Woofka third, Frank is fourth. He's still got Canesa all over the back of him. Moggs sixth, Morex seventh. Morex, who was 5 seconds down the road, in fact, these two have swapped around. Morex was 5 seconds behind Rui. Rui must have made a mistake because Morex has now moved up to 7th. Rui's 8th. Shadowlancer's 9th. Patches O'Houlihan. So what's happened here? We've missed the battle for 10th, 11th and 12th. So Houlihan, who was 3rd in AM class, is running 13th, I believe. He's moved up now to P10, which is AM class lead. Anderson follows him, and McCutcheon is now 12th and P3. Everyone has contact with Maxter. Maxter tapped the rear of McCutcheon. Hopefully that's not too much damage, and thankfully he's not going to lose positions in AM class. Will Maxter let him back through? I think he is. I think he's just letting off the throttle ever so slightly just to let him back through. That could have been accidental contact between the Aston Martin and the McLaren. But yeah, Patches O'Houlihan, Anderson was leading these guys, but he's obviously jumped on the Anderson and Shadowlancer were battling each other for a number of laps. He's obviously taken advantage of that and moved up to P10, but AM class lead overall. But he's got Anderson all over the back of him. I think this is the closest battle on track. We'll stick on board actually for the AM class win. As we see, Rapid Duck is about to cross the finish line. So Anderson to the outside, and that is your race lead switch in AM class. Anderson with a great move round the inside of Patches O'Houlihan. Can Patches get back at him though, heading into Brooklands? This is going to be a vital corner. This is your battle for AM class lead on the final lap in the sprint race here at Silverstone. Anderson takes quite a nice line, parks the Mercedes nicely in the middle of the road there, and he now hugs the inside line. He's just got to get on the throttle nicely here and bring the 888 Mercedes home for AM class race win in the sprint race here at Silverstone. And he does. Fantastic final lap battles here. Has Patches run out of fuel? Has Patches run out of fuel? He has. Where's McCutcheon? McCutcheon's run out of fuel as well. Oh no! Drama here. And the last lap. So Rogers takes third place in AM class. Patches gets that car home in second in P12 overall, but McCutcheon, oh dearie me. When it rains in Scotland, it pours, ladies and gentlemen. I imagine you've got a very angry Scotsman in the cockpit of that McLaren right now. I can probably see the steam coming out of the windows. Ouch. I won't say no more, because he's joining us live on the post-race interview. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. That's such hard luck, McCutcheon. That really is such hard luck. Wee Danny. He's going to find himself dropping down the grid. And we've got Brooker, who's either run out of fuel or just parked up. I imagine he's run out of fuel. So we've got a number of cars who've just under-fueled themselves for the sprint race. They are going to be adding a number of litres to their fuel load for the feature race. So let's just give you a rundown of where we are, because I'm out of breath, to be honest. That was a manic 20 minutes, never mind the last 30 seconds. That's what she said. So, Rapid Duck is P1 overall. He's your race winner. He was your pole sitter, and he led the race from start to finish to bring it home for the sprint race win. So, Rapid Duck is P1. Hutchinson P2. Wuthka P3. Frank P4. Canesa 5th, Moggs 6th, Moretz 7th, Rui 8th, Shadowlancer 9th, Anderson 10th is your AM class race winner. Maxter on his debut, I believe, at FRL in the P11. That's a cracking result for Maxter. Patches O'Houlihan, who ran out of fuel but managed to somehow drag that car. Probably had his feet out the door and probably pulling it along with his bare feet to get across the start-finish line. Brings it home in P12 overall, but second in AM class. Rogers 13th, who took advantage of McCutcheon running out of fuel. So third in AM class. Friedman 14th, who started pretty much back of the grid and finished 14th. It's a fantastic result. Gulas 15th, Jack Slater 16th, Matthews 17th, Gedman 18th. It's a good result for FRL's head admin. MPL 19th, Faz 20th, BMG Lucas 21st, McCutcheon 22nd, Brooker 23rd, Van Eck 24th, and BRG Stereotypy 25th. Sarge 26th. So what happened to Sarge? Because Sarge was running P7 at one point, wasn't he? I must have missed that one during the live race, so not sure what happened with Sarge. He's finished 26th in the end, and then Naisbit 27th, and a couple of other drivers. Liam Knott 28th. and Jack Davison 29th. Both these drivers did not finish the race, only completing 9 laps, 8 laps, and 6 laps, and 5 laps respectively. So, whew, I need a drink after that. That was a scintillating, amazing sprint race here at Silverstone, and we've got it all to come for the feature race. 40 minutes coming up in a few moments' time. I'll be back with you shortly.
Seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for the formation lap of the feature race. This is a 40-minute race, and if it's going to be a repeat of the 20 minutes we just saw there, we're going to have a very exciting 40 minutes ahead of us. So, if you're wondering about the qualifying starting order, it's the same positions as what was set in qualifying. There is no reverse grid for the sprint race or anything like that. So we've got Rapid Duck is obviously pole sitter again, Woofka, Canesa and Hutchinson, etc. So a number of drivers ran out of fuel at the end of that race, and we're just seeing on the Discord of the chatter they'll be making sure they add a few more litres to the cars this time round. Hopefully they've done the calculations right, as it's obviously going to be 40 minutes of racing rather than 20. So worryingly though, we've got a number of drivers in the pits. We've got Liam Knott, Anderson and Naisbitt, all who have not able to click drive in time. So Anderson, who is effectively going to be, well, was going to be your AM class leader in the championship, is suddenly on the back foot. Brooker, drive button wouldn't work. So a bug for the three guys there. That's unfortunate. See, Anderson's just been commenting, Brooker's just been commenting on the chat to say Rapid Duck doing that extra lap, screwing everyone over. I actually think he did cross the line, didn't he? With like 4 or 5 seconds remaining. So, yeah, that extra lap, I didn't think of it like that. So, the guys at the back of the grid who couldn't click start, I've got their work cut out. Naisbitt, who had a shocking sprint race, not really sure what happened to him in the sprint race. We saw him pulling off the side of the road shortly from the end. He's back of the grid again, and Anderson and Knott, they've got quite a battle to go. I tell you, 3 drivers won't be bothered by that. Patches, Brooker and McCutcheon, they'll be very happy to see their fellow AM class competitors towards the back of the grid, or pit lane start, shall we say. And I must say, the opening lap of the sprint race, it was very well done. The driving standards were very high. Everyone made it round pretty much all the way up through till it was only really when we got to Farm and Village where we had a couple of cars go off, and I don't think it was due to contact. I think it was 1 or 2 drivers lost it under braking or the high speed left-hander. There may have been contact, but overall everyone got away quite cleanly. The person who did get away cleanly was Rapid Duck. Now he'll be looking to do what he hasn't done yet, which is win back-to-back races. As I said, in the Hungaroring of round 1 of this championship 2 weeks ago, he got pole position, he dominated the sprint, he could not win the feature race, so he'll be looking to make amends as the drivers head into their 2x2 formation, keeping the cars in the limit, and we're ready to go racing in a few seconds time for the feature race here at FRL PlayStation 5 PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday. And we're green, away we go. Rapid Duck's got a very good start again, but Woofka is on the outside. So Woofka's got away cleanly. Canesa's already got down the inside, defending from Hutchinson, but Hutchinson's got another good start. He's going to go side by side into Maggots and Beckett's. He isn't, he's going to tuck him behind Canesa. We've got Sarge, we've got Moggs, we've got Morex, everyone's kept it clean so far. I don't think there's been no Max. Oh, there's contact there. Max just made contact with, who is that? It's the Audi. Was that Brooker? Can't quite tell. We've got contact between Gulas and Rogers, a little bit of door banging. So we've got one significant contact, which was Max that got sent spinning around. Let's just go back towards the top of the grid and just find out what is happening towards the top as the UI has its little hissy fit. I think we've got another driver spun off there. So Rapid Duck is your race leader, Woofka's second, Canesa's third, Hutchinson's fourth, Sarge is fifth, Moggs has lost a lot of places. He could have been the car going off at Stowe. I'm not sure where he's dropped down to, but he's dropped down significantly. Sorry, just trying to find out the drivers. So the UI is just still updating. We've got a number of cars all side by side. So Woodford's got a better start compared to the sprint. He was under a lot of pressure from Hutchinson in race 1, but Hutchinson's got his own battles going on with Canesa, who's following him behind. We've got Sarge under a lot of pressure from Moritz. I thought Moritz was going to make a move up the inside, then he didn't. We've got Rui following these guys. Patches O'Houlihan is your AM class leader. He's had a great start up to P8, but he's got Brooker on the inside of him. Brooker, can he get the exit? It's to Audi v Audi. Oh, there's been a contact between the two. I think that was accidental by the looks of it. I don't think they quite realised where each other were. Patches squeezes Brooker a little bit. And it's going to be side by side going into Cops. This is going to be a very fast corner. Please give each other space, guys. They have. That was fantastic racing. Brooker and Patches O'Houlihan side by side going into Baggett's, and Beckett's now still side by side. Who's going to come out victorious out of this one? It is Brooker, who maintains P8 and the AM class lead. Fantastic driving between the pair of them. And as we've got a car up ahead, is that Canesa? Is that Canesa gone off? It is. It's Canesa. He yet again made a mistake on the opening laps. So Canesa drops down all the way down to what? Ooh, P9, P10. It's even worse than that. P11. Oh, Hutchinson made a mistake as well. Hutchinson's going slow. No, he's not going slow. He's going very fast. He's at the inside of Wolfka. So Hutchinson, who was under pressure from Canesa, now all of a sudden is down the inside of Wolfka. Sarge, we've got Moritz, we've got Rui, we've got Brooker, we've got Patches O'Houlihan, McCutcheon in P9. Hopefully he's got a few more pounds of fuel on board. Shredancer P10, Canesa 11th, Stereotypically 12th, Van Eck 13th, Gedlin 14th, Max the 50 diesel, contract from that one of Magnus and Beckett's. We've got Moggs on the outside of Max must be carrying damage, I'd imagine. Don't know how much damage we would have though. BMG Lucas P17, Matthews P18. Rogers P19, MPL 20th, Gilas 21st, Naisbitt 22nd. He started from the pit lane, as did Liam, not as a little look down the inside. As we've got the 170 Aston Martin, I'm not sure who that Aston Martin is. Anderson is 23rd, Jack Slater 25th, Friedman is 26th. He's not had the biggest improvement, because he did start from 25th, 26th, so he's not moved his way up as he did in the sprint race. Frank 27th, Faz 28th. We have lost a driver as well, I'm not sure who that is. As we've got a car, yellow flags are out. Car number 16, who is that? That was Liam Knott, I believe, was this slow Porsche. Oh, as we see, Rapid Duck, Hutchinson and Wolfka going into Stowe. These two are yet again having a repeat battle from the sprint race. So Hutchinson maintains P2, or moves up to P2. But he's under significant pressure, and he's got 3 or 4 cars following him closely. Let's just stick on board with this for a moment, guys, and let's try and catch our breath. So this is your battle for P2 and P3, as Hutchinson has had a little bit of a scruffy line through those couple of corners, and he's now under significant pressure from Wolfka in the 212 Porsche. Is Wolfka going to pull to the inside heading into Brooklands? He has a sneaky look to try and put off the BMW driver, and he's going to have to be a little bit wiser than that to put off my fellow teammate Hutchinson. Moritz is having a better race compared to the sprint. He's moved himself up to P4 in the pink and blue AMG Mercedes. Rui is behind him in the sister Mercedes. And then we have the battle for AM class. We've got Brooker, who is currently your AM class leader in P6 overall. He's got a 2.3 second gap to Patches O'Houlihan. And then we've got McCutcheon following those two. So these three were battling each other throughout the sprint, and it's the bell has gone again, and it's round 2 between these three drivers. Canesa is dropped down to P9. He was P11th. He's made his way up now to P9. He was running P4 on the opening lap, so he'll be looking to get past these AM drivers as quick as possible. Behind him is Shadow Lancer in P10. Sarge 11th. Sarge, who was again running P4, as we've got yellow flags out at Maggots and Beckett's. Who is that? That's Rogers. We've got Rogers, and we've got the AAA Anderson. I think so. Anderson's gone off. We've got Rogers. Who else has gone off? Is that Frank? Frank is in the barrier. So we've had contact at the back of the grid through Maggots and Beckett's. Let's just quickly have a quick look at Wolfka, because I think he's quite close to Hutchinson, heading in to where are we? Heading into Village. Hutchinson goes quite deep again though. He's around the outside. Is he going to make the move outside? Hutchinson's going to squeeze him. He's left him space, to be fair. Hutchinson's left space. And it's going to be yet again. We've got yellow flags out again. Yellow flags out at Vale. We've got car number 8. Is that Friedman? I think it's Friedman. It is. Friedman's had contact. But let's just stick on board with the battle for P2 and 3, because these two are providing a right ding-dong battle. So on board with Christopher Gedman, Chris Gedman, he's got himself all the way up to P13, a cracking few opening laps for Chris, but he's under pressure from Maxter. Maxter, who we saw had contact on lap 1, don't know how much damage he's carrying, as both run a little bit wide, but Chris has got a lot of pressure from Maxter. He's got Moggs behind him as well. Moggs, who's dropped down quite a lot of places. I think he had an issue on lap 1. Has Moggs gone wide? I think Moggs did go wide. He had to bail out of that move. He's now going to have to come under pressure from Matthews in the Audi. Let's just stay on board with Chris though, Chris Gedman and Maxter, because these two are going to go side by side heading into Stowe. Now Aston Martin is very quick in a straight line. He's going to have to move on the outside. He's gone a little bit too deep in the brakes though, but can he switch it back? I think he can, and he's going to have to run going into Vale. He is. Who is going to be latest on the brakes and make the apex? Both drivers giving each other space. It's really good driving. Moggs is trying to get his nose involved. There's contact! Moggs has made contact with Chris Gedman. To be fair, he stopped to let him by. That's unfortunate for Chris. I think he was obviously having a great battle with Maxter, leaving both drivers giving each other racing room, and Moggs just tried to get involved, make it a little bit of a three-way, and stuck his nose probably where it shouldn't have been at that moment in time, and makes unfortunate contact with Chris. And now, I don't know how much damage Chris has got. Oh, blimey. Moggs goes on the grass, and I thought he was going to collect Chris again there. Let's just have a flick through down the field and just see, driver by driver, where we are. Oof, well, Matthew's almost losing it on the exit of Luffield then. MPL, Gedman, Moggs, Gilas, Anderson, Liam Knott. I think he's one of the drivers who had the bug at the start of the race where he could not start from the grid, he had to start from the pit lane. Jack Slater looks like he's had a few scratches in that BMW. B&G Lucas 23rd. Friedman is having a bit of a torrid race so far in P24. Faz has moved up to 25th. The 742 Aston Martin, all white livery. as a newcomer to FRL. Frank 26th, and then we've got BRG Seratipi, who's in the middle of, I think he's just had to get out of the way of Morex in P4, so he's a long way back. And then we've got Rogers, who's also still running in 28, and I think we've had one driver pull out of the race, disconnected, not sure who that was. So where are the battles on track? I think it's Canesa and Patches. So Patches O'Houlihan, who's currently running P7 overall but P2 in AM class, is right off on the heels of Brooker. But Patches O'Houlihan has got Canesa closing him down, hunting him down. We then have McCutcheon, who's all over the back of Shadow Lancer. McCutcheon currently running 3rd in class. As we've got drivers up ahead. Excuse me, slight voice break there a moment there. So what's happened there? I saw a car go a little bit deep into Brookland. Let's just try and work out who that was. It could have been Rui, because all of a sudden Rui is now under pressure from Brooker. It could have even been the back marker of BRG Stereotypi, to be honest. So anyway, let's just get back to see where we are with some of these guys down the field. So Matthews is just under a second of Naisbitt. Naisbitt's having a very good race. He's got himself up to 14th. He, again, one of the 3 drivers who couldn't start the race. So he's certainly going through the field like hot knife through butter. We've got Moggs in P17 with a very scratched up Ferrari. Anderson not far behind him. Gedman, who had that contact with Moggs, has now gone back all the way to 20th. Really unfortunate for him. He's got quite a gap though to Lee and Knott. It's back on board with Canesa, the 55 BMW. Can he find his way past Patches O'Houlihan? And we've got BRG Stereotypi again making room as a blue flag runner. Battle for P14 and P15. Matthews is hunting down Naisbitt. So the field are just starting to kind of get their natural spacings now. As we've got Moggs going very close to MPL. Moggs on the outside. Fantastic racing from the Ferrari driver. He's managed to make his way past MPL, and MPL is going to be under pressure from Anderson now. So MPL, who's lost the place to Moggs in the previous corner, could find himself losing two places in the space of 3 or 4 corners, but he doesn't. He manages to maintain his position ahead of Anderson. Here we are on board with Shadow Lancer. He's got Jay Sarge ahead of him, McCutcheon ahead of him. So the battle for P9, P10 and P11 respectively. So can Sarge make a move on McCutcheon? He's going to go to the outside of Stowe. Hopefully the drivers give each other room. I think the outside line can be the fastest one round here. If you get the good exit, you can. And Jay Sarge has certainly done that. Is he going to make a move in the braking zone down the inside? He is. He's quite late on the brakes. Both drivers giving each other room. It's really good racing. Shadow Lancer trying to make the move on McCutcheon as well in the background. So Jay Sarge takes P9. And Shadow Lancer tucks in behind McCutcheon. Good racing from those drivers. As we've got an early retiree, I think that is Will Friedman in the box. It is, Will Friedman has boxed, so he's out of the race. I'm not sure what happened there. On board with Moritz, the 99 Mercedes, he is now very close to Wufka in P3. Moritz wasn't really involved in the sprint race, he was just kind of in a bit of a race of his own. but he's certainly not in his race of his own in the feature, because he's all over the back of Wufka, who seems to be struggling with the pace a little bit compared to the sprint. He's not challenging Hutchinson as much as he was in the sprint. And as we slowly tick towards halfway mark of this feature race, so Canesa has managed to get by Patches O'Houlihan. So Canesa moved up the P7, and now he's got Jay Brooker 2.8 seconds up the road. So Jay is your AM class race leader thus far. Patches O'Houlihan in second and McCutcheon third. He's got about a 5-second gap to Van Eyck, who's currently running P4 in AM class. So McCutcheon, if I was him, I wouldn't lose too much time battling Shadow Lancer, who is a different class driver. Next we've got a slow number 12 at the back of the grid. That is Rogers at Maggots and Beckett's, running extremely slow. He currently finds himself in last place. On board with Anderson, 888 Mercedes, he's piling the pressure onto Moggs. He's almost had to get out of the way because Moggs was on the brakes going into Vale. It looked like Anderson may have been a little bit late on brakes, and luckily he avoided going into the back of that Ferrari. This is the battle for P16. As in the background there, we've got MPL and Gulas and Gedman. I think Gedman's actually made the move on MPL. On Liam Knott. They're side by side, the two Porsches. I think Gedman's managed to come out on top on that one. But can Liam Knott make it up the inside? He is. Liam Knott goes up the inside. Gedman leaves room. And now Liam Knott's going to have the outside line. He's probably going to have the better exit. He's almost had to get out the throttle to avoid going into the back of the sister Porsche. This is the battle for 20th here on the grid. So Liam Knott's going to have a cracking run. Gedman's always doing a bit of tactical weaving there. As Knott goes down the inside. Also fantastic move. There's a little bit of contact. To be fair, that was just fantastic racing, I think. There was just about a car's width there to send it down. Gedman tried to shut the door, a little bit of door banging, and Liam Knott has lost out on that battle, but good hard racing there between the two drivers. So, race leader, Rapid Duck, 3.8 seconds lead as he saw the red and white Ferrari in the background of Hutchinson come by. And then you have Wufka. So top three are just starting to stabilise the gaps a little bit. Drury P4, Moretz P5, Brooker is having a great race up into P6 as AM class leader, but he's got Canesa hunting him down very quickly. Canesa is actually the fastest driver on track right now, setting the purple lap. So, Patches O'Houlihan in 8th, Jay Sarge in 9th, McCutcheon P10, as Jeff just comes into my right ear and tells me we're halfway through the race. Shadow Lancer P11, Van Eyck is having quite a lonely race in P12, but he'll take it. It's a very nice livery as well for the Audi. Naisbitt 13th, he's having a very improved race so far after the issues at the start. Maxter 14th, Matthews 15th, Moggs 16th, Anderson 17th. Gilas, MPL, Knott and Gedman, these two are yet again going at it. In fact, Liam Knott has got ahead of Gedman. So we saw these two a lap ago battling each other, making contact, door rubbing a little bit, door banging, whatever you want to call it. So somewhere on this next lap, Gedman has lost position to Knott. So Liam Knott has moved ahead of Gedman. And then we have the back runners all fairly separated out equally. Friedman is actually now back on track, so he must have had damage and he's fixed it. So you've got to applaud drivers who are at the back of the grid, you know, many seconds away from the competitors. They're not just sitting in the pits and calling it quits, they're coming back out and then they're still taking part in the race. You've got to applaud that. As we see, just jump on board, Morex, oh, he's almost, I think, who was that? Was that Stereotypy? No, that's Friedman. So Friedman, who is running behind Morex as a back marker, the number 8 Mercedes. Morex looked like he got onto the grass and almost went sideways and almost collected Will Friedman. Friedman's got out of the way as Brooker is on the charge and Canesa is looking to follow him through past the back marker of the number 8 Will Friedman. So Morex making that mistake has now put him under pressure from Jay Brooker. A little bit of a three-way going on now between P5, P6 and P7. As Canesa's got a very good exit coming out of Copse. Is he going to be able to follow the car closely through Maggots and Beckett's and get a good exit out of Chapel down the Hanger Straight? But Brooker is keeping up the pace. This is a fantastic race so far from Jay Brooker. He's one of the FRL admins for Tier 3 on a Tuesday. Oh, the Audi of Jay, all this contact, oh my god, pick the pieces out of that. So, we've got yellow flags out, he's got a clear track so they can both rejoin. Canesa's is going to have to put the brakes on when he's got cars flying past him, he's going to have to rejoin safely. Is he going to yeah, he's managed to avoid cars coming past him. So, what happened there? We think, oh, that was a lot of damage as well for Canesa. So I think Brooker got on the curb or a little bit of dirty tyres, lost back end of that Audi, almost stepped out. I think doing that just put him in the path of Canesa, who just almost T-boned him. What that has done though means Patches O'Houlihan has moved up to AM-class race lead. He's moved up to P6 overall. And that gap to Jay Brooker is now 5.4 seconds, so that is an unfortunate incident for Jay. Do you know what? Commentator's curse strikes again. Literally 30-40 seconds before that incident, I was just thinking how he's having a good race. I'm going to stop saying that about drivers, because I seem to be cursing people. Every time I say people are having good races, I seem to be putting this kiss of death on them. As we see the 29, I think that's a 20... Oh, it's 28. BMG Lucas has boxed, so he's an early retiree. And that is Faz also in the box as well. Faz is coming back out though. So that's Faz rejoining. He's got a clear track behind him as the 72 car of Van Eck goes flying past him. So let's just kind of regroup and see where we are. Rapid Duck has now got a 6.4 second lead to Hutchinson. That gap is increasing lap by lap. He's also got the purple lap, so the fastest lap of the race throughout the grid. And a lot of the drivers at the moment are fairly evenly spaced out. However, we have got Matthews, who's now on the back of that Aston Martin coming down the Hanger Straight. This is a battle for 13th position. Evening Superkart Ray, just looked at the qualifying, 57s. I know, rapid pace from Rapid Duck. You know, he certainly lives up to his name, doesn't he? Rapid Duck, he is rapid. It was a mad qualifying session for him, and Hutchinson as well was only, I think, 3 or 4 tenths off him in qualifying. So those two drivers certainly in a field of their own when it comes to qualifying. Wooftka was up there, and the other driver up there, I believe, was Canesa, but Canesa finds himself in 22nd position in the feature race. He's not having a good evening at all. He's not been able to convert his qualifying position into race finishes in either the sprint or feature. Congratulations, by the way, Ray. I know you've been racing very well in the Taco series. I think you've had 2 podiums in a row, 2 third place finishes. You've certainly found your legs in Tier 1. Let's just jump on board with Naisbit, because Naisbit has got a gaggle of cars right behind him. He's got a drive-through penalty for stereotypy. But just jump back on board with Naisbit, because Naisbit has got a number of cars tracking him. He's got Van Eck in that Audi. Let's just go a little bit further down as well, because we've got Moggs, who is very close to Gilas in the Aston Martin. They're coming through Maggots and Beckett's. I don't know how much damage Moggs has got, because he's made quite a significant contact with Gedman earlier on in the race, so I don't know how much damage he is carrying. That could be affecting his straight line speed or aero in the corners. As we approach the final 10 minutes of this feature race, the races tonight have absolutely flown by. I do hope you have enjoyed the racing though, guys. If you are watching live, I think we have had a couple of cracking races. As we see Moggs go up the inside of Gilas, there's almost a little bit of contact again between Moggs. He's certainly trading paint on that Ferrari a lot into tonight. I think he'd have to back out of that as well. We'll have to do a little bit of lag, a little bit of server lag going on there. It looked like he was slowing down, but he's certainly not slowing down. He's right on the hotter heels of Gilas. I think Gilas has actually pulled to the side and let him take that place. Oh no, he hasn't. He's trying to defend it. Gilas has gone down the inside. Loving the clean racing. Yeah, it's been really good racing tonight, Ray. It has. I know there has been a few contacts between a few drivers, but I think overall it's been really good racing. I've seen a number of times drivers leaving racing room for each other. I tell you what though, Ray, I will be nowhere near your times on Tuesday, because I've just took delivery today of a new wheel and load cell pedals, and I've had about an hour's running in them. I've dropped about 2 seconds a lap in pace. So I'll be looking for a 25th place finish, I reckon, on Tuesday round here. My pace has just disappeared, but hopefully it will come back as I get used to load cell pedals. Well, I hope so anyway, otherwise I'll be going back to my garden chair and my T150. As we see Moggs yet again do a little bit of a switcheroo on Gilas. I think that move is going to get stuck. It is. So Moggs has made the move to 16th place stick, and he's overtaking Gilas. Sick day tomorrow. I wish, mate. I'm in the office tomorrow. I'm back in the office tomorrow. I do. With me and my job, I do 3 days in the office and 2 working from home. I normally do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the office, and Thursday, Friday working from home. I'm very tempted to work from home tomorrow and just take a long lunch break on the sim. Try and get that extra lap time in, track time in. Otherwise, I'll be sat in the office tomorrow just stewing over how slow I've got. So what have we got going on here? Anderson, Matthews, and is that Maxter? It is Maxter, Anderson and Matthews all battling away. I think Anderson's actually moved ahead, and Anderson's moved up to 13th. Max has dropped down, but he's got Matthews all over the back of him. downplaying it, Lewis or Paul. I tell you what, if I get my second pole position of the season, it's not coming to Tuesday. If it does, I think there's more chance of Arsenal winning the Premier League than me getting Paul on Tuesday, and that's coming from an Arsenal fan. Let's just jump back to Chris Gedman, because he is eyeing up MPL for 20th position, heading through Maggots and Beckett's. So I think Chris has got the run here. He's going to have to make the move going into Stowe. He's gone to the inside. I don't think the inside's the quicker way around Stowe. I think sticking to the outside, you just seem to get the better exit. He's not able to. That Porsche, we know how it is slower in a straight line, and that Mercedes is very quick around here. So he's not able to get the move done on MPL. And he's got to be careful because he's got Shadowlancer in the BMW, which is quick round here in the BMW. Shadowlancer is watching closely from afar. He'll be looking to take advantage of any of these two. Scrap against Gedman. Takes a sneaky look down the inside. He was like a woman walking past the bridal shop there, having a sneaky look through the window to see what he could buy. He was hoping to buy P19. He didn't on that occasion. But he could have the run here, going into Brooklands. I think he's a little bit too far back. He's not going to make a last minute move down the inside. He's too sensible for that, Chris. So let's just have a quick look at the top. As we think we see MPL go a little bit deep in. I think Shadowlancer actually, I was just about to go away from these guys, but these guys have just retweaked my interest as Shadowlancer has got the better exit of Chris, and now side by side getting past the start finish straight, heading into lap 17. So I think Gedman's actually lost out to Shadowlancer here. He's going to take the right-hander of Cops. It is Shadowlancer. So Shadowlancer in the 29 BMW moves up ahead of Chris. Chris will be fuming in that car. He was looking to overtake MPL, and in the space of a lap, he's lost out to the car behind him. And is Shadowlancer about to show Chris how to get it done heading into Stowe? I think he is. He's going to go, here you go Chris, this is how you do it. So MPL moves to the inside, Shadowlancer's got the outside, Shadowlancer's a little bit late on the brakes, and he almost does the move on the brakes. That's fantastic driving from the 30 BMW of Shadowlancer. Takes P19 on the outside of Stowe. So I was correct, he did show Chris how to get the move done on MPL. So let's just have a quick look. I think J Sarge is charging Jay Brooker. He's 4 tenths behind as they cross the start finish line. Jay Brooker currently P2 in class, P7 overall. He's got the 777 BMW on a mission behind him. And McCutcheon is currently P3 in class, and he will be joining us. Our wee Danny from Bonnie, Scotland, will be joining us live on the grid post-race for a post-race interview. Subtitles up there ready, please. Hopefully he's got a bit more fuel in the car, because he was running third in class in the sprint and then ran out of fuel with like 2 corners to go and finished like pretty much third from last. But he's got a good 14-second gap to Naisbitt. I think these two drivers are in a party chat together as well, so Naisbitt will probably be giving him a little bit of banter, but I think he's going to have to give him more than banter to catch 14 seconds in 4 minutes time. But these two up ahead are still battling away. Now, on board with Matthews in P14. He's still piling the pressure on Maxter. Maxter having a couple of solid races here. I believe it is his debut in FRL. He seems to be a quick driver. He won't be, if this two performances or anything to go by, he will be a driver to keep an eye on in FRL with the pace he's shown tonight. As we have Gilas of the 170 Aston Martin running very wide on the exit of that corner, and that has opened the door for Liam Knott. Is Liam Knott going to make a move down the inside? He has a quick look, and he's not going to be close enough to make a move, as we've got Frank in the background. I think that's a back marker in between them. I think that is a back marker. Oh, we've got yellow flags out. Who is that? That's Faz. Oh, I think Faz has made contact with someone. So Faz has made contact with... Who is that he's made contact with? I can't quite work out. Was that Frank? I think it was Frank. And the race leader, who has just gone past car number 28, which was BMG Lucas. He's got car number 55 ahead of him, which is Kanesa. So he'll be flashing those headlights soon. He won't want to get caught up in traffic, but he has got quite a healthy gap to Hutchinson in P2. Wuthker's P3. He's starting to catch Hutchinson. There's 1.4 second gap and just over a minute and a half to go, so just keep your eyes on that. Is Hutchinson's having to fuel save a little bit, maybe? Let's keep an eye on that gap as we head into the final couple of minutes. J Sarge is still battling away with Brooker, and they're very close together now. Whoa, we're going to make contact there. In fact, I think they did. I think there was a little bit of contact there at the rear. So Jay Brooker's, they're side by side. Sarge has got the better exit. We're going to have to leave each other space, and I think Sarge is going to get this move done. He is. So Brooker goes to the inside of Cops. He'd be a silly man to send it down the inside there, especially running in P2 in class. He won't want to lose out of position. So with that change, we now have quite a group of AM class drivers all in position. We've got Brooker in 8th, McCutcheon 9th, Naisbitt 10th, Van Eck 11th, and Anderson 12th, and Anderson's all over the back of Van Eck. In the British GT sponsored silver Mercedes, Silver Arrow of the AAA Anderson. So, let's stick on board Rapid Duck. He's got a couple of cars ahead of him, back markers, and he's got 26 seconds to go. I think we're going to get another lap. Now, this is what caused drivers a problem last time. With him crossing the line with 3 seconds to go, it meant 3 or 4 drivers ran out of fuel. I think he's going to cross the line, and there's going to be another lap. He is. So with 6 seconds remaining, Rapid Duck crosses the line to start his final lap. Is that going to catch a couple of drivers out when it comes to their fuel loads? You would hope they've learnt their lessons from the sprint race and they've just put an extra lap on board in case this same scenario happened. Now look at this gap between P2 and 3. Wuthker, I mentioned it a lap ago, it was 1.5. Heading into the final lap, it's now down to 0.8 of a second. So Wuthker is on a charge and he's hunting down that BMW. He's going to have to make a lot of progression. Hutchinson must be fuel saving, he's got to be, his pace is dropping off. You can't really be his tyres dropping off a cliff this much after only 40 minutes. What is the gap as we go through the timing screens of Sector 2? It's 7/10, who's gained a 10th through the first sector, Wuthker. He's probably going to have a couple of opportunities as Hutchinson just go a little bit wide there in the grass. I saw the grass kick up. Hutchinson's got a car in front of him, has he? Well, he did have a car in front of him. That was a back mark. I think that was BMG Lucas making way. So Hutchinson will be feeling the pressure. He needs to hold on to that P2. And Wuthker is doing his best. to get close enough to make a move. I think he's going to have an opportunity. He'll be looking to make a move down the Wellington straight into Brooklands, I'd imagine. He's got to set himself up nicely through the village in the loop section. Hutchinson's got to pick his braking point. He can't go deep because that will really open the door. He's got to get a good traction out of this corner to defend from Wufka. I think Hutchinson, barring a mistake on the brakes, he's done enough to defend from Wufka from the late Renaissance charge off the Porsche. So Rapid Duck is going to come home to do a double win here at Silverstone. Rapid Duck is your race winner. Hutchinson has managed to fend off the late charge of Wufka and bring the BMW home for a double BMW 1-2. Wufka P3. Rui is going to come home in P4, but he's got Morex right on his back, on his trail. Is he going to get a better run across the line? He isn't. I think Rui's just going to salvage 4th place. So Rui P4, Morex 5th. Patches O'Houlihan is going to come home as your AM class leader in the number 69 Audi. So Patches O'Houlihan is your race winner for the AM class. Jay Sarge rounding Luffield. P7 for Jay Sarge, a very impressive run for him. Brooker is going to come home for 2nd place in AM class, 8th overall. And McCutcheon comes home for 3rd place in AM class. A fantastic result for McCutcheon, P9 overall. I think that's his best result of the season. I'll have to double check that. Naisbitt, great race from Naisbitt, flashing his lights for the live stream. Naisbitt P10, Vanek 11th, Anderson 12th. Maxter is coming home and managed to survive the late pressure from Matthews in P14. Moggs in P15. Now Liam Knott is... We've got Rogers and Faz has also finished. So Liam Knott's going to be the next driver across the line. And there is a 333 car in there as well. That is BRG Stereotypy going to cross the line before him. He's 23rd. So Liam Knott 15th. Gilas 16th. We've got Frank and we've got Shadow Lancer battling away, but Frank's going to come home in 17th, Shadow Lancer 18th. Gedman, who's got MPL, these two have been at it all race. Gedman's going to come home in 19th. MPL 20th. Let's just quickly drop back to the timetables and just round off that end of the grid for you. Sorry, MPL 21st, beg your pardon, I said 20th, it's 21st. Caneta 22nd, Jack Slater 23rd, BRG Stereotype 24th, and then drivers who didn't quite finish or finished a lap down was Rogers 25th, Faz 26th, Friedman 27th, a race to forget for Will Friedman, BMG Lucas 28th, and Jack Davison DNF 29th. So, the headlines from that is Rapid Duck with a clean sweep. P1 in practice, P1 in qualifying, P1 in sprint, P1 in feature. A fantastic weekend for Rapid Duck. That should move them up to 1st place in the championship, I'd imagine, because Canesa, who was leading the championship heading into this round, had a couple of stinking races for us. He finished 22nd, so he's certainly going to lose 1st place. Daewoo, who was 2nd in the championship, he's finished, I think he had 2 3rd place finishes in a row in the sprint and feature. So he's had a very solid points haul this weekend. And Rui and Morex is up there as well. Will Friedman, who was running 5th in the championship, he's going to lose quite a lot of points as well. But don't forget, there is the dropped round. The drivers who have had a bad race in the championship, they will have a dropped round of their worst result. So as the weeks progress, that will change based on their finishing positions. So we've got a live driver interview coming up. We've got Danny McCutcheon, who finished 3rd in AM class tonight, your 778 McLaren. He'll be joining us in the commentary box in a couple of moments of time. So just bear with me, guys. We'll just pause the stream for a couple of minutes just while I set myself up, and we'll bring you a bit of a post-race interview with our P9 and P3 class race driver of McCutcheon. I'll catch you in a couple of moments. So, ladies and gents, live in the commentary box with us is our very own wee Danny McCutcheon. Danny, mate, talk to us about your race. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Obviously, a bit disappointed with the first race.
Ran out of fuel, didn't you?
Run out of fuel. Yeah, I would probably say I was about 20 metres from the finish line. So, in a good position as well. I think I was sitting third in the arm section. I don't know what I was overall, but yeah, it was. I think what the problem was, it was Rapid Duck's pace.
Yeah.
He took it on. He took it on for an extra lap, obviously, which we're not counting on. We're trying to make, sorry, mate. On you go.
I was going to say, I think it was Jay who was saying him starting that kind of last lap with like 2 seconds on the clock caught a few people out.
Yeah.
So that was yourself included.
Yeah, I don't think I was the only one that ran out of fuel. But that's obviously a lot of us. We do the calculations to try and make it lap perfect. So we're trying to pick up as we're losing grip. We're keeping the pace.
Yeah.
But yeah, just very unlucky, and it just so happens it goes down as a DNF.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at least you could take positives out of the race. You think you definitely had a better race pace compared to Suzuka.
Yeah, 100. Suzuka just didn't suit my. I don't know what it was. Style of driving per se. I'm quite aggressive going into corners.
Yeah.
And plus I get hit a couple of times in Suzuka. Just really unlucky. I think this is the third race this year, and I think I've been hit in nearly every race. So it's just been, and running out of fuel was just carrying on that luck.
Yeah, but race 2, kind of putting a negative into a positive.
Yeah.
Third in class. I think it was P9 altogether, wasn't it? So a really good
P9
result.
altogether, yeah. And I was actually lucky because I put an extra 5-6 litres of fuel in, and I finished the race with, I think it was 1.92 litres. So I was quite lucky again, because I think I would have threw the headset away if I didn't the exact same.
Yeah, I was. I caught you actually running out of fuel on the last lap in race 1, and I did actually comment. So I think I could see the steam coming out of the McLaren. I thought it was going to be like a Watkins Glen moment all over again.
No, mate, I actually just started laughing. In those situations, what can you do? Do you know what I mean? It's your own doing. So we should be allowing for quicker drivers taking the pace, that extra lap. So we maybe should be just mental note, put a couple of extra litres in just to take us over the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to my own fault, I've nobody else to blame but Watkins Glen. What can we say about that?
Yeah, that was probably. I think when we do our FRL highlights of the year, that clip will probably be in there.
Yeah,
I will make sure that clip will be in the highlights reel for 2023.
You'll need to bleep, 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 bleep me.
I
Yeah,
noticed
so
we've got a couple of live comments coming in. A lot of cheeky people saying they can't
yeah.
understand you and asking people to turn the subtitles on and asking you to speak English.
Yeah,
Mr.
at least I'm not
Naisbit,
Welsh.
cheeky chap.
Yeah, that's I knew it was him. That's why I said at least I'm not Welsh.
So Danny, how you obviously you're still fairly new to FRL, aren't you? Did you only
Yeah,
join us
this.
a few months ago, just before Christmas?
Yeah, I had one race right at the tail end of the season. Obviously done the Christmas and New Year,
Mm.
which got me my driver rating and luckily I got a full time seat, which was brilliant.
And how are you
I just
finding it? Are you finding it better than the public lobbies?
Oh, well, sometimes. No, it's a good level of racing. It really is. For MD that wants to, I mean, do it competitively, it's excellent. Good bunch of lads. Obviously, there is contact on track. You sort it out. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
There's no point in
Yeah.
taking it any further. I mean, you just leave it in the stewards' hands. I mean, we had one. He'll not mind me. He'll not mind me mentioning him. That Shadow Lancer, he came into the back of me last week. Put his hands up straight away. Sorted it out in the stewards' room. He
Yeah.
luckily got away without any penalty because we were so civilised about it, and that's what it's about. You know what I mean? There's no point in trying to tear one another's faces off.
Exactly, and that's my attitude to it. I think you're never going to avoid people making mistakes or kind of being a little bit like, oh, what's the word? Trying to be polite here because I'm live on air. But
Yeah,
you're not going to avoid people being idiots on track. You're always going to get those people, no matter where you race online. But
yeah,
my attitude is, everyone works hard during the week with work and family life. So the last thing you want is kind of acting immature online. You just want good racing, don't you? I think in general, FRL provides that. So
oh, 100%.
yeah.
FRLs, it's one of the better groups I've been in. I mean, I'm quite a few servers in. I mean, we done a 3 hour driver swap as well last night straight after a league race.
Oh,
And
nice. How did that go?
yeah, me and Anderson we were third in that. So it went really well. That was in Misano, 3 hours of
Nice.
Misano. So yeah, I mean, I reckon if it wasn't for the bad luck, I would be having quite a good run of finishes, if you know what I
Mm,
mean.
yeah.
Maybe not as high up as podiums, but I would be there or thereabouts.
Yeah,
It just
definitely.
so happens that Suzuka I would probably say I've just got to forget that one.
Yeah, I want to forget. Well, you'll have to keep your eyes on Discord because I think we are going to be looking to do driver swap endurance races at FRL as well. So
I have noticed the testing being done, so
yeah, we've got
which is
Will Friedman, kind of the brains behind it with the
yeah,
server configuration. So I think we're looking to do a test race in this month in Feb. I'll say this month, we're still technically in Jan, but we're going to do a test race in Feb and then maybe do a little mini kind of series throughout spring. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes out for that. It'll be good to see you
yeah,
in that one.
100%. It's definitely a game changer for PlayStation.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think I've always wanted to do, like, even when I used to play Gran Turismo back in the day, like doing the 24 hours of Spa and things like that. I always
Yeah,
always wanted to do like the endurance races. There's some different style of driving into it, kind of
yeah, 100%.
cool. So, thank you very much for joining me on the channel, mate. And yeah,
No
it's been a
worries.
pleasure to have you, and well done tonight on the third place and class
Thanks very
finish.
much, and thanks for getting us on. And it was good to talk to you, mate.
Yeah, nice one. All right, take care, mate. Have a
Right,
good week, and I'll catch you soon.
yeah, take care, mate. Cheers. Thank you. Catch you. Bye.
Well, that was very smooth, wasn't it? Hopefully you all managed to understand him. I'm only joking, Danny. You were perfectly loud and clear in English for me, mate. So, guys, thank you for joining me on the live stream. It's been another cracking set of races on a Sunday evening here at FRL. If you have enjoyed the race, please do drop a like on the video. Drop the subscribe button as well if you haven't already on the channel, as there's plenty more content coming your way. We've got very own Tom Cairns, commentating on Tier 1 on Tuesday. And I believe, and don't quote me on this, we may even have Tier 2 being streamed as well this week. We may have got an additional commentator. So I'm not sure that is confirmed, but I think that is going to be happening at some point in the near future. And then Friday, coming up this week on Friday, we've got Monza in the endurance as well. So if you are participating in that, I will see you on track because I will also be there. But as I said earlier on in the stream, I'm going to be off the pace for a number of weeks because I've just kind of got all new kit, low tail pedals, etc. So yeah, I'm going to be off the pace for a few weeks until I get up to speed. But anyway, back to the races tonight. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a cracking week ahead at work, at school, whatever you're doing with your week. I hope you keep well, and I'll see you next Sunday for round 4 of the PureSimGear Super Sprint. Take care. Cheers all. Bye bye.